I'm McCord, and welcome to The Real Deal on thestir.com. This week we are discussing the Real Housewives of Ow, my lip, and Don't Poke the Bear, and Don't Mess with My Hair, and This is Hurting My Brand. Oi, from Atlanta to Orange County and New York, everyone had something to complain about this week. Let's discuss. This week on The Real Housewives of Atlanta, secrets revealed, formerly lost footage for season 6. For whatever reason, no one watched it. This was the lowest rated episode all season, followed directly by a one-on-one sit-down with Andy Cohen and Kenya Moore. First, let's talk about Porsha Williams. She was more scattered than Sonia Morgan. Let's talk housewives and brands. When you sign up for the Housewives, you're encouraged to build a brand for yourself. It's the carrot they dangle trying to sign you up, to make you feel better about taking such a low starting salary and signing such an onerous contract. What they don't tell you is that nobody will help you build that brand. You have to do it yourself, and if you wind up looking bad on the show, all that brand building is useless. It won't work. And finally, although you're encouraged to do it, it's like pulling teeth to actually promote your products on the show because that's too much like advertising. So, with all that, if you don't have laser focus and a strong work ethic, ain't no brand gonna be built. Kandi nailed Porsha to the wall over her lack of focus. Is it teeth whitening, radio announcing, makeup, singing? What is it? Kandi said pick one thing and stick with it, and Porsha couldn't. But let's focus on Apollo Nida for a moment. I always say that reality producers build you up, tear you down, and do it all over again. If they want to keep you as a cast member, they will try and not crucify you so much that you don't want to come back. Bravo gave Apollo a big wet kiss this week, and it's about time he got some love. By airing the scene of Apollo sitting down with Aiden during the birth of Mr. President, baby number 2, we all got to see that no matter what else is going on in Apollo's life, he is a loving, caring dad. That was nice. And that was pretty much it for Atlanta. It fed right into the Watch What Happens Live episode with Andy Cohen and a one-on-one sit-down with Kenya Moore. Now, there was an interesting shift for me in this half hour of television. Did you see it? Kenya handled herself pretty well. She's an articulate woman who doesn't lose her cool very easily. However, I really don't like her, and that's a sentiment shared by most of the viewers across America. Her interview strategy was pretty obvious, which gets old quickly. In adversarial interviews, people don't answer the questions necessarily. They just use that space as time to talk about whatever they want. For the first 15 minutes, Kenya did not answer a single one of Andy's questions. She twisted his words, she editorialized the flashback footage of Nene and Porsha, and said whatever she wanted. Kenya didn't plan to have issues with Porsha, indicating she did plan to have issues with the other ladies. Now, I believe her that she didn't necessarily see the Porsha drama happening, but in the moment, she had to know that if you poke the bear might bite. Come on. One thing I did like about Kenya, she called Andy out, and she was 100% right. Kenya told Andy that the deck was stacked against her in editing, and she was correct. Kenya has had such an unsympathetic edit that no one cares about her or feels bad for her. By showing footage that makes her look bad and everyone else look good, the editors make the viewers and the cast hate her to the point that nobody believes her. With all that, I almost give Kenya a pass for being so nasty. I mean, I would be nasty if that was happening to me. In fact, I would say that probably the New York editors would tell you that I was nasty back in my day. But Kenya's right that if the network and editors decide you're going down, you will go down. They will make the cast and viewers hate you, and there is very little you can do about it. Speaking of cast members going down, let's talk about the Real Housewives of Orange County. Specifically, let's talk about Heather Dubrow. It is episode 5 of season 9, and it is clear to me that Heather gets it. Whether it is the Housewives, Mob Wives, or Snooki, when producers want to shake things up a little bit, they play a game called Let's Pick on a Cast Member. This season there is a whisper campaign, and it's about Heather Dubrow. She is the target. Everything Heather says or does is wrong. And we're seeing evidence. This week we see her browbeating a party planner and getting very silly over a chair. But those are the scenes we were given. For every scene of a housewife looking crazy and demented, there are also scenes of her looking sweet, sexy, funny, and hilarious. It's down to the editor's choice what to show. Once a story arc has been decided upon, it is very, very easy to push the condemned cast member's friends into dumping on her. Imagine you're sitting in an interview chair and you're asked, don't you think what Heather did was obnoxious? Don't you think she's a know-it-all? Don't you hate it when she corrects your grammar all the time? Even if you're being fed lies, most cast members will get to the point that they're sick of being cross-examined with leading questions. You throw up your hands and say, what do you want me to say? And the producer consults their notes and says, how about something like, Heather's acting silly. I don't think I like Heather. But please, put it in your own words. I wouldn't want to feed you lines. Depending on how smart the housewife is, she may or may not see through this manipulation. But the sad part is, this time around, you can see that Heather knows exactly what's happening. When Heather asked Shannon after the chair drama, are we good? Are we done? You can see she's trying to telegraph to Shannon, please don't use this against me in interviews. But the damage is already done. Heather's on a sinking ship. Hopefully she will be able to bail herself out, but without producer help, I doubt it. The other bit of Orange County drama this episode was around newbie Lizzie RHoC. Clearly the casting memo said this year, let's find new women who complain about their husbands, as Lizzie and Shannon both do. Vicki Gunvalson has a history of hazing new cast members, from Gretchen to Alexis and all the rest, so when we saw her accept Shannon Bedore right away, we knew Lizzie RHoC was doomed. You can't like them both, you gotta hate one. They got off to a very rocky start in the limo at dinner, made 100 times worse when Vicki ordered a round of tequila shots for the table and left Lizzie out. Or did she? I don't buy for one red-hot minute that Vicki intentionally left Lizzie out of the shots. I will bet you a table flip and a weave pull that a crew member yanked a shot off that tray in order to make it look like Vicki was leaving Lizzie out. It is the oldest trick in the reality TV book. A producer jumps in between two cast members and meddles. Then, both cast members, unaware, have an honest reaction to that trick, which creates drama. Speaking of drama, let's jump over to The Real Housewives of New York, Season 6, Episode 10, where we take a ride on the Ramona coaster. Clearly, Ramona did not want to go to the Berkshires now or ever, and whether it is Morocco or the Berkshires or Brooklyn, Ramona doesn't want to go where she doesn't want to go. And you can laugh and you can say she's silly and being crazy, but that will not change it. First, it is very true that Ramona had a rough childhood and family life. That part is not exaggerated. However, is Ramona above using all that as a card to play to get out of a situation she doesn't want to be in? Nope, she'll do it. There is not one single thing Ramona did this trip that was not calculated for drama. Let's think back. From ordering the air conditioner for Heather's house, to organizing a plane to come and pick her up, to attending a party in the Hamptons that same night with her hair done, knowing that pictures would be taken. Come on. I am sure that the moment Ramona knew about the Berkshires trip, she called up her friend and begged him to wait on standby with that plane so she could call him for a dramatic escape. I think probably the only thing that was not intentional was actually flinging the glass at Kristen. I bet she was caught up in the moment and went too far. I do blame Ramona for going too far with the glass throwing. I don't blame her for the rest of it. Ramona's MO is that she's always over the top. She is the one who goes too far, who is inappropriate and unapologetic about it. And she gave the girls fodder to be shocked and gossip over. And she hurt Sonia's feelings by leaving her behind, which adds a new wrinkle of drama to their relationship. I mean, there were only 2 seats on the plane. Somebody needed to stay behind to flirt with the boat captain. Gotta say, Ramona's inappropriateness and Sonia's rapacious boat flirting were the best parts of this episode, because I certainly didn't want to watch Kristen whine and rehash 100 times, nor did I want to watch 1970s Elvis gyrate. Ooh. But I did not miss Aviva, did you? Moving on to real-life reality news, Joe and Teresa Giudice finally caught a break. Did you remember even that there was another fraud case against them? Before the federal charges to which they pled guilty and will be sentenced on July 8th, a former business partner had also sued them for $260,000 in misappropriated building equity. Well, this week a judge threw it out, dismissed it, it's gone, done, and over. Meanwhile, Teresa is keeping a very low profile until the July 8th sentencing, and insiders say that Bravo will delay the premiere until after the sentencing so that Teresa will not be doing any press or interviews before her court date. While we wait for New Jersey to come back, we can spend that time getting to know a new group of screaming harridans, or as they call themselves, fishwives. Of course, I'm talking about Bravo's new Ladies of London, which had a sneak preview this week. Did you watch? Now, I think for those nostalgic for the first couple of seasons of New York, the London gals might fit the bill. I'll bet you £1,000 sterling that 1, it'll be a great success, and 2, all the British-born ladies of the cast will eventually leave London after being ostracized by the real powers that be in London society, who will reject them because none of them would ever dream of going on television. Who's with me here? Let me know what you thought in the comments. For now, I am Alex McCord. You are watching The Real Deal on thestir.com. See you next time.